So it's DLC time in GTA Online. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go through the trailer that just dropped. There are plenty of other people that have done a full analysis of the trailer. What I'm going to do, I'm just looking at the cars. So we'll look at each one in turn. I'll give you my prediction for costs and whether I think it's actually going to be any good. So let's get cracking. And we start here with the Greenwood Cop. As you'll see later on, there's another version of this later on, so you're obviously going to be able to choose a couple of different liveries from this. What we can't tell from these pictures is whether you're going to be able to keep the Imani tech. I'm pretty sure with all of these police cars, they're going to be separate cars. I don't think they're going to be livery options. I don't think it's going to be an upgrade you can do. I think you're going to have to go and buy each individual car, choose your livery. I think you're looking at easily 3 to 3.5 million for one of these. Moving on, we've got what a lot of you are interested in, which is this. Another new car which looks to be based on the Hyundai, or as we're told from their adverts recently, Hyundai Envision concept. I'll pop that up on screen with a couple of different angles. That looks like a fabulous car. Estimate on that, that's not going to be cheap. If you look at what the 300R was when that came out, I think that was 2.3, was it either 2.3 or 2.8, I can't remember. You're looking at mid 2 millions for this, and I think this is going to be a pretty decent car. So quite a bit to unpack here, but not much that we haven't seen or won't see again. You've got another view of the Greenwood there. And then over in the back you can see we've got a Cypher, and we've got the Nebula Turbo and the Sentinel Classic. And then obviously right in the middle you've got the Impaler, don't know, tomato. You've got the Impaler SV as a cop car, which again you're probably going to be looking at 4 million plus for that. With it being a new car, you're going to be looking at 4 million plus. That was quite expensive in standard trim. A couple of interesting things of note here. So they're using this Sentinel Classic a lot, which is interesting. I can't see anything new or different about that. Same applies to the Cypher. That just looks like the standard Cypher. In the background you can see the Greenwood Cop again, but here you've got this Nebula Turbo with quite a cool livery. I don't recognise that livery, and it made me wonder, with them using some of these older cars, are they doing something with these? Are they bringing some new options to these? Can't really see anything other than the livery that's different, but just an interesting thought for that one. And then here we've got your first 4x4 police car, the Bravado Dorado. Again, wasn't a cheap car first time around. I think it was 1.3 million. For the cop version you're looking at least double, possibly more. So I would say probably high 2 millions, maybe sort of 2.8 million is what it's going to cost you for one of these. And that I would say is possibly going to be quite a good car. And then here you get the first look at the new Bentley. So that looks to be the Bentley Batur, which is the updated version of the Continental GT. Fabulous looking thing. We've been overdue something like this for a while, so it's nice to see that it's made it. And then here you get a bit of a sneak of a look at the new Pipestrello, and again the Envision concept, but we'll come back to those in a bit more detail shortly. So here's the Pipestrello, which is based on the Estrema Fulminea, something like that. Electric supercar. My prediction for this? Disappointment. Whilst I'm a big fan of EVs, I think I've said before I have an EV, they're just not very good at doing them in the game. And they're yet to do a decent electric supercar. The Virtue is the best they've done, and that is pretty decent, but it still has a fairly weak top speed. So there is a possibility that this could be like a Virtue with a sensible top speed. And if it is, then you know what, that would be worth having. Prediction for this, in the region of 3 million. Easily 2.5 to 3 million for this. I think this is the feature car of the update. And nothing of note in this. You've got the Benson bail van, you've got another Benson in the background, a destroyed prison bus. I'm not seeing anything interesting there. And here we've just got a couple of helicopters. It looks like a Velito and a Buzzard. Nothing interesting there, I don't think. And this is interesting for a couple of reasons. Obviously you've got the Vapid contenders on either side, so it's nice to see that back. I'm more interested in the one in the middle. So it looks like the Mule Custom, but it's different to the nightclub one. So that makes me think, is this going to be an upgradable delivery vehicle? Are you going to be able to bundle people into this and deliver them in one go to make more money? It certainly looks upgradable because you don't often see NPCs driving vehicles with scoops on the front. So I'm more inclined to think this is one of your delivery or mission vehicles than it is an NPC enemy vehicle. But it'll be interesting to see what you can do with that. And moving on, this is the first bit that I think is quite interesting, and I've not heard anyone talk about this yet. You get a tiny glimpse of this. You get about 2 or 3 frames, and this is a truck that I do not recognise. So if you look at that high back, the low roof line, big wheels raised up, 2-door, it doesn't really look like any of the other trucks in the game. I suppose it could be the Angle, it could be the Walton, it could be the Yosemite Rancher, but I don't think it is. The only new car I can think of that has that high back and low roof line is the Cybertruck, but there's too much about this that's wrong. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say I think this is a new car, and I think this is a new version of the old 2-door contender from GTA 4. So let's see if I'm right on that one. And then here we have the bale delivery van, and we'll just stop it here for a minute just to look at these back panels. Now these rivets look like armour plating, so whether that's how it arrives, I'm not sure. If it doesn't arrive like this, then that does tell you that there's a chance you're going to be able to upgrade it with armour upgrades and possibly other things as well. And then here we've got a couple of helicopters. We've just got the Buzzard and the Hunter, nothing spectacular there, and a nice shot of some of the new cars. And this is the first time you get a good look at the new Bentley. You get a much better look at the new Bentley here. And there's the Pipestrello again, so we've already covered a lot of these. The Bentley, again, I'm probably going to go low 2 millions for this one. I don't think that would be too horrific because there are already quite a few others in the game. And then here you've got the Impaler, tomato, in the background, which looks like it's going to be one of the better cop cars. A few people missed this when the trailer first came out, but it's the first thing I saw, and it's the new Benefactor, the new Merc. So in typical GTA style, this is probably going to be a mixture of more than one car. Depending on how you look at it, it looks a bit like the 190E, it looks a bit like the 500E, but it also looks a little bit like the W124. Now, whichever of those this is predominantly based on, I don't care, because you know what this means? I'm going to be able to build myself a Mercedes Cosworth, and that makes me happy. So saving the best till last, this is the car I'm looking forward to the most. I don't think it's going to be that expensive. I think this is probably going to be in the low 1 millions. Even though it's got the flared arches, they're not flared enough to make me think it's a Benny's car, so I think this is going to be cheap, and I think this is my pick for the best car of the next DLC. But we'll all find out next week when it launches. I hope you find that useful, and I'll see you all in the next one.